All right, shalom, shalom. I'm gonna start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning this truth 100% according to the Bible. And I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, the prophets, the servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere, and your children, shalom. And then today's video is going to be going into about keeping the faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So today's video is going to basically be touching about faith, and I got a few precepts that I got going into how important it is to have faith, because we know faith is what's going to get us through these times in which it is we're about to come into, which is the times of Jacob's trouble and things of that nature. And, just enduring, man, we got to keep the faith of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So here go a precept I got. This is Hebrews 11 and verse 6. And it says, but without faith, right, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, right? And I'm going to go into that word diligently, right? Bear with me. I'm going to look up that word diligently, because this is what we're supposed to be doing, diligently seeking Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. And we can only do that through faith, right? Because, we can't do these things on our own accords. So the Lord has to give us that faith to diligently seek him, man. Constantly be seeking after him and walking after his ways to the best of our abilities, leaning upon him, trusting in him with all our heart, and leaning not into our own understanding. And that word heart goes into the mind. So we want our mind to be focused on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, especially in these times we're in now, right? So that word diligently goes into, it says, doing something diligently means doing it thoroughly and well, right? So you want to be doing this thing thoroughly, man, right? And that's constantly seeking the face of the Lord, man. By all means, no matter what it is you're going through, no matter how hard things may be, we go through sufferings, we go through afflictions in this body. We go through, all types of different things. You brothers and sisters understand, you going through it as well. We all going to go through hell. We are going to go through rough patches, and things of that nature. Because we know ultimately we're brought into this thing to suffer. So that's why it's important for us to keep the faith. Because ultimately these sufferings in which it is that we go through is only to build up our faith and increase our faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? Coming into the times, like I said, that we're about to go into, we're going to need this faith, because this faith is what's going to deliver us, man, right? And that is a gift. And I got this precept right here, the water to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. This is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. And it says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, right? So we ultimately know that faith is a gift, man, and not everybody is gifted with the gift of faith to believe in something. And we know that faith, as it says in Hebrews 11 and 1, I'm going to get that. It said, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, man. So, that's why a lot of people are not in this truth. Because if they can't see it with their own eyes, then guess what? It's not real in their sight, But we have through faith, right? Believing in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, knowing that the Lord is, man, and that he's always going to come through for us, no matter what it is that we're going through, even in the times of, that's to come, we trust in the Lord that he's going to keep us protected. Lord's will, we bear that hope for elect number, right? But we know that through faith that is going to keep us going, man, through whatever it is that life may present us with, whether it's hardships, whether it's good times, whatever it may be, man, struggles, difficulties, we must always keep the faith, man, and have that on the back of our mind. And one would ask themselves, like, how do I get faith if I don't have faith, or if I don't have enough of it? How can I increase my faith? Well, the Lord says that pray for wisdom, and I'm going to go get that precept. Bear with me. I believe it's James. Bear with me. Bear with me, brothers and sisters. I believe is the water to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. This is James 1 and 5 in the KJV. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, right? And that lacking wisdom can mean anything, It can mean you lacking faith, you lacking the trust in the Lord, or whatever it may be, especially if you're new coming into this truth, then you want to pray to the Lord for these things, to help him to build you up stronger in these things, to increase your faith, man. Because like I said, it's a gift. It's not something that can just be handed to you like, oh, here go a cup of faith, drink it. You know what I mean? No, you got to pray and ask the Lord for these things, man. And if he see that you're sincere and that you're truly trying to walk after these ways and seek after these things, he's going to give it to you. But like I said, we know that the only people that are going to seek after the Lord sincerely, especially in these times, are going to be the elect. The 144,000 and the 1/3 remnant, they're going to be the only people seeking after the Lord in sincere and truth, right? Begging and asking for that faith, trusting in the Lord, So this is James 1:5 in the KJV again. I'm going to read it from the top. It said, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him, right? So if you go to the Lord and you ask him for faith, man, and tell him to deal with you and to, strengthen your relationship with him and things of that nature, then guess what? He'll do it for you, man. You just got to be sincere, ultimately. But, moving around in the spirit, like I said, also many other ways to get faith is, reading the scriptures, man. You got to stay in his word, man, because that's what's going to increase your faith as well. Once you read this word and start applying it to your life, and you see how things start moving for you and changing. Whenever you're going through a hardship, you run to the word and you see how the word uplifts you from whatever it is you're going through. All of that comes from faith, man. It builds up your faith reading the scriptures. And that's why I got this precept right here, Romans 10:17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So you got to constantly be in the scriptures, man. I know brothers and sisters got a lot of different things in which it is they have to go through. Certain people might have to go to work. Some people may have to do this, may have to do that. But still, you want to try to always give your time to the scriptures, man. Whichever time you got available and free, you want to either, you definitely want to be in his word, and reading it by all means, man, So I'm going to get another precept. Bear with me, because faith is what's going to get us through these hard times, man, that is coming, man, times like never before. And the elect are going to live by their faith, as it says in this precept right here, Romans 1:17, for therein is the righteousness of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just, meaning the righteous, shall live by faith, man. And that's what we're trying to live by. That's why we're constantly begging and pleading to the Lord to give us more faith, man. Give us more faith to endure. Give us more faith to, go through the challenges and things of that nature, which, may come in our lives, man. This is all of the things in which we beg the Lord and pray for, man, And it says, bear with me, I'm going to get another precept. This is, bear with me. Not that one. Bear with me, brother Salakia. But yeah, I'm looking for this precept. Right, I'm going to get Proverbs 3 and 5. Proverbs 3 and 5. Right. Bear with me, brother Salakia. This is Proverbs 3 and 5 in the KJV. And this is how you get your faith, man, by trusting in the Lord. Like I said, no matter what it is you're going through, no matter how the situation is looking, no matter how bad you think things are going for you, long as you continue to trust in the Lord, man, trust me, you're going to be good, man. And that's what I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, of course. But we have to keep trusting in the Lord, man, no matter how things may look, no matter how things may seem, no matter what it is we're going through, no matter what problems we may face, afflictions that we go through in this flesh, man. We got to always trust in the Lord, man. And that's through faith that we're able to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, So this is Proverbs 3 and 5 in the KJV. It said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, meaning your mind, right? Which is in the Hebrew, the lob. So with all of your mind, you want to have faith in the Lord and trust in him, man, right? And that's through good times, that's through bad times, that's through whatever it is you're going through in your life. When things are looking rough for you, and even when things are good, you want to continue to keep that same energy towards Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You don't want to be like a double-minded man. As it tells you in James 1 and 8, that a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, man. So you don't want to be like that. You want to continue to have the faith in the Lord and continue to trust in him and abide in him, right? And lean not unto thine own understanding, right? Because we know ultimately, guess what? When you lack faith, man, when you don't believe in the Lord and trust in him, guess what you're going to start doing? The spiritual demon Satan going to try to get on you and try to, allow you to lean into your own understanding. And that's when you start going off, man. That's when you start, doing all type of weird things and bugged out things, man, when you lose the faith of the Lord, man. Right? And this is verse 6. It says, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." And how is he going to direct our paths? Through faith, man. Us believing in him, trusting in him, knowing that he's in control of everything and that he's going to direct it in our favor. But we have to have that faith in him to know that he's going to do those things, right? You know? But yeah, like I said, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say with today's video. Lord's willing, it can be edifying to you, brothers and sisters that come across it. It wasn't nothing too long, just something quick through the spirit that the Lord had on me. But to those who come across it, hopefully you be edified. And to the next time, I'm going to say shalom.